know Doctor Who. And if you don't, then you can go.
Right, hello guys, you're watching Go.2, and today we're going to do the review of Day of the Doctor, finally on the channel. I've reviewed every episode on the channel of Doctor Who. I've reviewed them in a series ranking and all sorts like that, but I've never reviewed Day of the Doctor, and today we're going to put that right and review Day of the Doctor. But before you do that, check out my review of the new Dalek special we had for... and then we've also done 5 of my favourite Dalek stories, 5 of my favourite Master stories, and my 5 favourite Cybermen stories, so you should check them out on the channel. And also next week we've got my my favourite music from the show of Doctor Who, and then, so many videos coming out on the channel, so many. Got my list here full of the videos, all the way up to the end of the year, so there's a lot to check out on the channel, so remember to subscribe. And without further ado, let's get on to the review of Day of the Doctor. So, I absolutely loved Day of the Doctor, and it was interesting that Clara basically helping the Doctor yet again. And we have basically Billy Piper not playing Rose, but playing the moment and persuading the War Doctor, and the War Doctor alone, only him can see her, and her trying to persuade him not to destroy Gallifrey and take a different route. And the War Doctor's had enough of this war, the ongoing war, the struggle, everything. And the only way he can think of this is to destroy the Time Lords and Daleks alike, to save the rest of creation before the rest of the universes get destroyed by this massive war that's destroying everything in its path. And the War Doctor only thinks of one way, although it would kill also innocent Time Lords in the process, and innocent kids as well. And this is the whole idea of Day of the Doctor, reversing that and creating a different solution, which Stephen Moffat's mind does brilliantly well. And we get to see UNIT in this, and UNIT are worked quite well and then infiltrated by Zygons, and Zygons versus UNIT, and then shapeshifter dynamic, and commanded, you know, that there's a bomb, and we have a reference to the Brigadier and all the companions in the background in the Black Archives of all these Doctor Who past episodes. It was a pretty good nod. And we have Zygons versus UNIT, and then the Doctors come in and basically create a peace treaty, which later reveals in Series 9 the 12th Doctor story, to resolve the peace treaty with the Zygons and UNIT, so it gets resolved in a later base with the Zygons. And also the Zygons bring us a mix in between 11th Doctor getting a message off Elizabeth I, and basically getting a message off Elizabeth I about a certain thing, and then the time portal comes out for 11 to run out of into the 10th Doctor's life, and why the 10th Doctor's dealing with Zygons and Elizabeth I. And I really like that. I love, there's 2 quite known from Gavin and Stacey actors, and it's quite an interesting one, and the 10th Doctor's back, and I love that. And then we have Matt Smith being brilliant and going, it's like a special effect because he's so skinny, and Matchstick Man and Oi Chinny, it's such a lovely thing, them nitpicking at each other and revealing that they're the Doctor with the Sonics going like that and contemplating regeneration. It's a lottery, and it's hilariously witty and taking out each other. And then the War Doctor comes along to burst their funny moments to go serious mode, and then being attacked by Elizabeth I's men, Zygon men maybe, and then revealed later on they're in this little room dealing with their consequences. And for once I'd like to know where I'm going. No, you really wouldn't. Spoilers. And then going head to head, 11 and 10, your favourite Doctors of New Who, battling it out, and I love that. And the War Doctor's questioning, who the hell am I? Who am I going to become? You two. The man who forgets and the man who regrets. And the Sonics all working together. Finally the Sonics can work on wood, and Clara just opens the door. Oh well. And I love the Vortex Manipulator as well. That's a cool thing. Throwback to Captain Jack in the 50th. Why not? And the paintings, the 3D paintings. I watched this in the cinema with my granddad, and watching that in 3D was brilliant. To be fair, the 3D paintings quite worked in 3D for us. at least. What else now? The Zygons enter the modern day of universe, because they're basically, this time period they're in, it isn't the best for them to take over at this point, so they're going to take over when Earth's worth being taken over in the modern era of Doctor Who instead of the past. And I love that. The time travel aspect is quite nice for the timey-wiminess, and David and Matt just working as well, and the War Doctor just being brilliant, John Hurt, bless him. And the 10th Doctor getting married, and then we get to see the 10th Doctor's TARDIS with the War Doctor, the 11th Doctor, and the 10th Doctor. Oh, I love that TARDIS. And then we see the War Doctor's TARDIS, and it's so cool and different. I love the mishmash. And then we see the Roundels. What are the Roundels? Oh, you've redecorated. I don't like it. I love that. And it's a lovely cheeky reference to classic Doctor Who. And then we get to see the new TARDIS with David Tennant flying the 11th Doctor's TARDIS. It's so weird to see. And then the call, quite clever. We saw at the start of the episode linking back in of check your phone and see who you're talking to. I was just talking to you. I know. And the time travel aspect. And then the Daleks getting blasted with all the Sonics. You can't point your Sonics like that. They're like water pistols or something like that. I don't know. Yes. I'm John Hurt. John Hurt's amazing. I absolutely loved him in this. I thought it was pretty cool, and he made the War Doctor his own, but also made it amazing. And considering he had other filming commitments as well, he rushed this into play, and he did it fantastically well. And yeah, David Tennant's performance in this was incredible. Billy Piper's as the moment was amazing, and Clara was very important to make the Doctor change his mind about stopping the Time War. You know, so yeah, we see Unit and Kate and Osgood. For the first time we see Osgood and the reference of the scarf. And then we get the last bits now. We're on to the Zygons get sorted for the Series 9. You get to see the resolution of that with the Osgood boxes. And then we get to see the 10th Doctor, Clara, and 11th Doctor arrive on Gallifrey. The first time properly they're arriving on Gallifrey. And you're like, ooh, and time locked. It shouldn't be like this. Then something's letting us through, you clever boys. I'm loving all the references. And then the moment, they're having to press it. They're all standing together. For once, you don't have to do this alone. And it isn't a privilege for lesser men to light the frame. The War Doctor feels so guilty, so bad. And you can see that through the 9th Doctor when he thinks he's done it. Which is something that doesn't break the law of Doctor Who, because the War Doctor doesn't remember saving Gallifrey. He thinks he destroyed it, creating the problems that the 9th Doctor has with the war-stricken emotions he has, and also has the regret from the 10th Doctor, and then the 11th Doctor having to try and forget it and try and live past that, and then coming to face with their problems yet again for the 50th. David and Matt having to face this problem and actually press it themselves to try and help, but then think of a better idea. What if we don't? What if we don't destroy Gallifrey? What if this time there's 3 of us? We can reverse this. We can change history. We change history all the time. This time we're doing it on our own personal time stream. We're going to move Gallifrey somewhere else. The Daleks destroying themselves in their own crossfire, blowing up all the Daleks, so all the Daleks would think Gallifrey is destroyed, the Daleks would be gone, and one Dalek flies off, just in the distance, leaving for Series 1. There's a Dalek ship that just flies off, leaving for Series 1, with a crashing Dalek, bringing in Series 1 quite well. Stephen Moffat wrote this perfectly, and of course, dear God, all 12 of them, all my worst nightmares at once. No sir, all 13! I love that, and the crowd in the cinema went wild for that, and I absolutely loved the Pete Capaldi, the eyebrows, and the dun 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 dun. Oh, and Alonzi Geronimo! Oh, for God's sake, Gallifrey stands! And the Time Lord, and we see all the Doctors, and it's lovely. And for my next trick, oh, I loved all the Doctors in this. The brilliantly little references, and saving Gallifrey, moving it, and then to a pocket universe for then later on in Series 9, the Pocket Universe, they get Time Lords escape their planet and put it to the end of the universe. And then the Time Lords are trying to escape the end of the universe yet again, moving back to where Gallifrey was originally for then Series 12, the Master to destroy Gallifrey completely and obliterate all time because of the Timeless Child. So that's the progression of Gallifrey throughout, getting destroyed, then saved, then destroyed, then saved. And at the moment in time, Gallifrey is saved. The Doctor's done his job. Clara's all happy and giving the Doctor a moment. Ten is saying goodbye. I don't want to go. Learning about Trenzalore, and that's a particular reason maybe he doesn't want to go, because of Trenzalore and the knowledge of that in some sort in his head. The War Doctor saying goodbye and hoping the ears are less precipitous this time, and regenerates into Chris Eccleston. You just get his eyes, lovely, settling in. The war is ended. The War Doctor can now rest. And then we have 11 looking at the picture, and then this old person, the creator. Oh, I really think you might. Who knows? The fourth Doctor comes along, lovely, and the crowd screamed when we were in the cinema at this. I'll never forget it. And him just talking about the picture and then saying, Gallifrey falls no more. And you're like, it didn't fall. Gallifrey's still out there so we can have more adventures with it, until the Master came along and went boom and destroyed everything in Time's Child. But we'll forget that for now. Just for now. That's future problems. But yes, so Gallifrey's saved again. That's all happy days, and of course little references to the to past Doctors, and the fourth Doctor, the creator, walks off. And 11's all happy and then talks about him dreaming. For once I know where I'm going, where I've always been going, home, the long way round. Referencing for Series 9 as well, with the long way round and Clara going back to Gallifrey the long way round, and seeing all the Doctors there, and Gallifrey looking up, knowing where they're going to go next. Lovely, beautiful 50th anniversary. I loved all of this, apart from one thing. I didn't see one person die in this, apart from a few Daleks, of course, but I think there should have been a few more deaths. There should have been a bit more stakes. It was a nice 50th anniversary, a nice nod, and a lot of people say, oh, it just celebrated the new era of Doctor Who. There was classic Doctors in there. Deal with it. I mean, seriously, we are in the Doctors that were the Doctor. They don't exactly look exactly like it, but I do get they could have played a background character, and that would have been a nice, like Sylvester McCoy walking along, or Peter Davison in a Gallifreyan outfit pretending to be a different Time Lord, or something or other. Would have been nice, but they can't really play the roles now because it's up to the new people, and soon David Tennant will be too old to play the role, and he won't be able to return. But for now, while we've got these familiar faces, we can have them, and that's what we have to accept. Stephen Moffat did the best he could for what he was worth, and that is why this episode gets a 9 out of 10. Really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it even more when I watched it in the cinema. I have brilliant memories of this, and it's a good, strong story. I just wish a few people got killed off to make more stakes. But yeah, that's my thoughts, that's my review, that's my talking about my favourite bits of this episode. I think David Tennant was brilliantly, came back into the role quite well, and the flat hair, Matt Smith's performance, incredible. Of course, the limelight should shine on the 11th Doctor, as he's the current Doctor in this time, and Jenna Coleman's performance incredibly well, and Coal Hill School was a lovely reference, and of course the title sequence in black and white was a nice touch. And Gallifrey stands for now. Thank you guys for watching. Don't comment, rate, subscribe, and remember, we have a lot more videos coming on the channel, so remember to subscribe, because you know you don't want to miss anything, and get the little bell. We're going to set a goal for the channel to hit 500 subscribers before the end of the year. That's the kind of goal, so hopefully we can get to 500 subscribers before the end of the year. Can you help us on that journey by clicking that red button and subscribing and joining us? Thank you guys for watching. Don't comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for another video very soon. Have a nice day.